Trump address last night, was it tailgate worthy? And we should explain what tailgate worthy means. Like tapping a keg.
Something you look forward to. You got wings on the smoker.
Everybody gathering around the TV. I don't think it was tailgate worthy. What I think it was a campaign message. I think this was part of the midterms. 2026. I think this was a look ahead. He didn't mention Venezuela like we talked about yesterday. I think he just focused on what is ahead for the economy and the American public. It was quick and really quick, right? I mean, 18 minutes?
Like 18 minutes long. That's all that it was.
I thought it was a campaign commercial. And he, like Casey's husband, Jim, said earlier today, I heard him say, Trump is a master manipulator of the media.
So this is where the Venezuela thing comes into play, right?
Yes,
so
and I
Tucker
agree with
Carlson yesterday says that he believes that Trump in that speech last night was going to declare some sort of war, whether it's war on Venezuelan drug dealers, war on drug boats, or war on Venezuela. Tucker Carlson goes out, does an interview, tells Judge Napolitano that's what he expects.
Well, not only what he expects, but what he's heard from two different congressmen.
Correct. But that didn't happen.
No.
So where did Tucker get his information? Did it come from Trump? And this is where the master manipulator comes into play. Did he intentionally get some of his high-profile pals to say, hey, this is happening, because that way the major networks commit to covering it, knowing full well, once all the networks had bought in, he was just going to crap all over Joe Biden and the Democrats for 18 minutes.
Wow. And mention many of the successes that Trump has accomplished, many of the accomplishments that Trump has had over the past year.
Oh, he had charts. He had charts.
Yeah.
He brought up a number of different ways to look at things.
We didn't get to do our shots on Facebook. He didn't say what was the policy last night. If he said bad hombre or coyote,
right,
then we do shots live on Facebook. He didn't have any of that.
No bad hombres, no coyotes.
But he didn't have time for it. It was 18 minutes. I have a feeling maybe that was a deal he cut with the networks and say, hey, run my stuff. I'll be quick and concise. But I liked it.
It was rapid fire, man. I'd never heard him speak that fast before.
We were texting about that last night, weren't we?
His cadence is usually kind of slow because Trump likes that delivery, right? There's kind of a slow pause sometimes, and then boom, he'll come in with like a one-liner. Last night, it was rapid fire, but nothing at all about Venezuela. So here to talk about what happened, ladies and gentlemen, AI Tucker Carlson.
Well, apparently we're not going to war with Venezuela. My sources were wrong. I just wanted to share how it is that I got the information, if you allow me. Last night I had a dream. President Maduro came to me in the dream and he said, Tucker, El Presidente Trump is declaring el war on Venezuela. I need your help, Tucker. The dream was so real that I had to check if it was true or not. So I called Candace Owens. She said that all dreams are totally credible sources of information. That's where she gets all her information from. So now I know we're definitely going to war with Venezuela. I had to check with a government source one last time before I leaked this totally credible information. So I called Marjorie Taylor Greene, and she said, Tucker, you go ahead and leak that information. I also had a dream about it. So that's basically what happened.
So that's AI Tucker Carlson. Do I sound like I'm echoing really bad to you right now, Nige? Do you hear a major echo from me right now?
I don't hear an echo from you, but I feel like in my headphones, it's I feel like I am a robot.
Okay.
I will take you to the second floor. I don't care. I'm having fun here, man. That Tucker explanation was hilarious. So let's play a couple of clips, shall we?
Let's hear a little bit from Donald Trump last night. He talked about payroll against inflation.
After years of record-setting falling incomes, our policies are boosting take-home pay at a historic pace. Under Biden, real wages plummeted by $3,000. Under Trump, the typical factory worker has seen a wage increase of $1,300. For construction workers, it's $1,800. For miners, we're bringing back clean, beautiful coal. It's $3,300. And for the first time in years, wages are rising much faster than inflation.
Okay, so we got a little payroll versus inflation. We'll take that. I think the big win, if you want to call it that, and I'm sure somebody's going to find a way to crap on this, was the warrior dividend.
1,450,000 military service members will receive a special we call warrior dividend before Christmas, a warrior dividend. In honor of our nation's founding in 1776, we are sending every soldier $1,776.
Wow. Hammer, where's that money coming from is my only question. I'm not trying to crap on anything. If anybody deserves any money like that, it's our servicemen and women. And I love the fact that he did it. Usually it takes Congress to approve this sort of thing. So apparently Trump got it done somehow. I love it, but I do have a couple questions about it.
And that's fair. That's totally
okay.
fair. So is this a taxpayer-funded thing? Is this coming from the tariffs? Because Trump for a long time has floated the idea of having some sort of tariff stimulus check going out. And the concept of that kind of rubbed a lot of people the wrong way because those stimulus checks never work. Right? They never stimulate the economy.
I mean, $1,700 for military families, is a lot of money. And I think that will go back into the economy. That will go back into purchasing Christmas presents for kids and family. I do, again, want to know how this happened, though, and who's paying for it.
Well, all in all...
But I'm not crapping on it. I want to make that clear.
Right. All in all, I think it's a good thing, but you're right. It's fair to ask. It doesn't make you a bad guy to ask, where's the money coming from? In terms of the speech as a whole, right? Van Jones of CNN. And I know I'm going to get crapped on for this, but I actually listened to what Van Jones has to say. He's not a lunatic on the left. I disagree with his philosophies and
is that the bar?
A lot of things, but he's not a lunatic, right? Van Jones talked a little bit about this very fast-paced Donald Trump speech last night.
I am not scared of that guy. I'm not. This is the first time I've seen a Donald Trump I'm not afraid of. He is exaggerating how bad things were. That's okay. He's exaggerating how good things are. That is great for us. That is fantastic. He sounded a little scared. He sounded a little nervous. I don't know. Maybe he was just going too fast. I don't want to read anything into that. But I think if you're a Democrat who's sitting here tonight biting your nails, is this guy going to kill us, crush us? I think this is a beatable guy next year, and I think he proved it tonight.
And he's speaking on behalf of the Democrat Party, by the way. When he says, I'm not scared of this guy, he's speaking on behalf of the Democrats.
And he did mention the midterms, and that's something I said at the beginning of the segment. I think this was possibly the beginning of a campaign message for the 2026 midterms.
But again, the whole cadence of Trump last night was weird because I've never heard him like that. Normally, he's slow, he builds things up, but I feel like maybe somebody at the networks told him.
That's it.
Listen, you've only got 30 minutes or less. We're going to play the season finale of Survivor, whether you're done or not. So, Orange Man, you better hurry up. And he went up there, and he sounded like the Micro Machines guy.
This is the Micro Machine Man, presenting the most midget miniature motorcade of Micro Machines. Each one has dramatic details, terrific trims, stupendous styling, precision paint jobs, working wheels, Micro Machine cars of vast variety, including Lamborghini, Trans Am, Corvette, 4x4, Blazer, pickup Charger, and many more.
I mean, that's what Trump sounded like last night to me.
It's hilarious.
Matt Bear standing by. He has a look at the roads.
All right, everybody, looking at the east side, northbound 465, stall clear to 71st, still stop and go from 70 up to Penn Pike. Inbound 69, stop and go after 106 to 465. Inbound 65, slow at west to the north split, then southbound 65, 70, slow from Michigan Street to the south split. Eastbound 70, stop and go traffic from Belmont into the south split, and south side eastbound 465, slow from Bluff Road over to Emerson Avenue. Lights out on the northeast side, that's Shadeland Avenue, Shadeland Station. They're flashing red. Traffic sponsored by ChumbaCasino.com. With over 100 online casino-style games, Chumba Casino is your destination for nonstop entertainment. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 21 plus. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Right now, it's 53 at the American Standard Heating Weather Center. Coming up here in just a little bit, we'll have your reason to drink. If you need a reason to throw one back tonight, we got you covered. We're having fun this afternoon. It's the Hammer and Nigel Show. Come on back.
Inside Indiana Business Radio, the news you need to get ahead. Indiana's business news leader, weekdays at 6:32 a.m.
listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show.
A week from today.
7 days, baby.
Man, oh man. I cannot believe how fast this year has flown by. I can't believe how fast they took us out of the old building and put us in this new building with some issues still to be resolved. But that's okay. We're having fun. I'm Nigel. That's Hammer. And I've been wanting to get to this. I want to get your take. This woman has been dealing with a lot of backlash online because she bought angel tree gifts for poor kids. But she bought those gifts at Dollar Tree. Angel Tree, something the Salvation Army does.
Yes.
Where kids get gifts under the Christmas tree from Santa Christmas Day. But she got the gifts from the Dollar Tree, and people say getting generic colored pencils instead of Crayola takes away the magic. Here is
come on.
I want you to hear her response to all the haters.
For the past 24 hours, I have been relentlessly harassed for buying off-brand colored pencils for an Angel Tree gift. She wanted arts, crafts, skincare, and McDonald's. I purchased what I thought I myself would have enjoyed at her age, and the internet felt that I did not spend enough time or money, and has certainly let me know. While admittedly feeling very discouraged and in the moments very angry at personal attacks on my character, I have to remember that the same people who impulsively are ripping me apart with no awareness of who I am, my intentions, or the recommended requirements of this donation program, which, by the way, the recommended spending rate was $50 to $80. I spent just about $65, are the same people who crucified a perfect man.
Oh, jeez.
We're bringing Jesus into this now.
What?
Jesus has entered the chat.
Wait a minute. This is supposed to, first of all, it's supposed to be about the birth of Jesus, not the crucifixion. That's Easter, lady. But other than that comment, no, I don't. First of all, I don't know what her budget is. Maybe she doesn't have much of a budget to go out and give to others.
And what's the old expression? Beggars can't be choosers. Like, if you're relying on the angel tree, and I'm not talking about the kids, I'm talking about the family. If you're relying on gifts from others, don't be mad when a Rolex watch doesn't magically pop up under the tree. That's not how this works.
Generic colored crayons instead of Crayola. I would have known the difference if I was a kid.
Does it still color? That's all that matters, especially to like little kids, right?
I buy generic stuff now as an adult.
Right.
Of course, we've had the discussion. We don't go generic on toilet paper.
There are certain things that you prefer to have name brand.
But this woman, for her, again, her cadence and talking on TikTok, and a woman has been dealing with a lot of backlash online because age
sounded like Trump last night.
That annoyed me too. That annoyed me too, but I love this woman for doing what was right and screw anybody that gave her any crap about where she shopped for needy kids.
I'm with you 100%. And it kills me and it pains me to agree with you on anything, but you are 100% spot on. And you're right. We don't know what this woman's budget is. Plus, if you're trying to help as many people as possible or get as many gifts as possible, there's nothing wrong with hitting up the Dollar Tree.
Nothing
wrong at all.
Nothing at all.
All right, Allison, I'm going to need some feedback from you because as the single woman here on the Hammer and Nigel show, I feel like you can weigh in here. There's a new dating trend where singles are letting their parents take over their online dating accounts.
What?
The idea is that you haven't had any luck so far, so maybe your mom or your dad would be better at picking out your soulmate. Now, I don't know if you do the dating apps or not. Do you?
No.
You've never been on any one of those dating apps at all?
I am not on those, no.
Not on Tinder?
Have you ever been... Not on Grindr.
Grindr's
is that exclusively for men?
I believe that's for gay men.
Yeah, that's not really my demographic.
I didn't know if it was for the the opposite sex as well. But you've never been set up on a date by your parents?
No, not by my parents. A lot of my parents' friends. But I will say, I would not subject my parents to the dating apps because they would be horrified if they saw messages that unfortunately come through the dating apps.
And those would
Ergo,
just be
why
from
I'm
Matt
not
Bear,
there.
actually. Like half of them would be from Matt Bear. But okay, taking away the rude things and the crank pics and everything else that may come through on a dating app, would you trust your mom or your dad or whoever it may be to pick out somebody that they think you might have a future with?
Yeah, I think so. I trust my parents enough, and they're not pushy.
Yeah.
I will say, I mean,
can we set you up with a dating app and let your parents do it? Can we please
do
do
not-
that, Allison?
I do not want you two involved in my dating life. I will say that.
Do it for the show, Allison.
Yes.
It's for the show.
Set up a dating app and let your mom like drive the boat on it.
You want my mom to do it?
Who do you want?
Okay.
You want Hammer to do it or your mom?
No.
I'll
All
create
right,
a
well,
burner
then-
account and do it myself.
Yeah, don't give him ideas, Nigel. We'll see. We'll think about it.
We've
I
at
don't
least got her at the think about it
Right.
stage, Hammer.
And whoever you go out with, like Nigel and I would be chaperones, like undercover at the date.
I would like that.
So we'll make sure no shenanigans happen. And in the event that you guys decide to make love, Nigel and I will be there too. We'll be in the room somehow. What do you think, Allison?
Issuing instructions, giving commentary.
Right.
I love where this segment is going.
Booing
I
or
love this.
cheering.
It's my favorite time.
It's the Hammer and Nigel show.
Hi, I'm Lexi, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company.
right. We got a feud here. Is this a feud between Piers Morgan and Candace Owens, or is this as a result of Candace Owens meeting with Charlie Kirk's widow, Erica Kirk, behind closed doors after the things that Candace Owens, a political flamethrower, talking head, influencer on the internet, has been saying that, Turning Point USA had a part in Charlie Kirk's death. Erica was somehow involved in it. Israel somehow involved in it. What are we looking at here, Hammer?
A little bit of both,
Yeah.
if we're being honest. I feel like Piers Morgan knows what Candace Owens has been doing, but I also feel like he thinks she's full of crap. So Candace Owens went on with Piers Morgan, and we got a couple different clips here, and we'll let you guys be the judge of how this plays out. Here's the first one.
So when you say that somebody at Turning Point USA, Charlie's company, was complicit in his murder, who? Who was?
I believe that there were multiple people at Turning Point who are, as I have said many times, my exact words are, they are engaged in a cover-up of what happened to Charlie on that day.
No, but who was involved in his murder?
I didn't say that they murdered Charlie.
You said that people at Turning Point were complicit in his murder.
No, my exact sentence that I said was that there were people at Turning Point who are engaged in a cover-up.
No, you didn't.
I believe
Sorry,
that
you didn't.
thoroughly.
Candice, you didn't say that. You said literally.
I did say that on my entire show.
You said there were people at Turning Point complicit in his murder. That's what you said.
Now, Nigel, I know you don't watch as much classic television as I did growing up, but there was an old Brady Bunch episode where Greg Brady wanted to go by exact words. And if his exact words said something, that's what we were going with.
Interesting.
And I feel like Candace Owens is trying to pull that crap too. We know what she's talking about.
Words.
We know what she's trying to say, but she's trying to tell Piers Morgan, well, technically I said this. No, we know what you meant. Here's a little more.
I believe that there are people at Turning Point who are engaged in covering up what happened on that day.
But were any of them engaged in the planning of the murder of Charlie Kirk?
I wouldn't know how it was planned. Absolutely, I can't make that. I cannot confidently make that statement. I can say confidently that I know they're engaged in the cover-up because I've been investigating what happened on that day and what transpired thereafter. I've been clear. I've named those people on my show. I've said they are engaged in a cover-up, and I've listed the lies. So you don't have to try to make something out of what I didn't say. I tell you what I think. It's already controversial. We don't need to get more controversial, okay? Do I think someone at Turning Point pulled the trigger? No. Obviously, I don't think someone at Turning Point pulled the trigger. We don't even know who did pull the trigger. So how can I say that they're...
Did anybody at Turning Point, in your opinion, know that Charlie Kirk was going to be murdered?
There is specifically 2 people at Turning Point USA, and I have communicated that information to Erica and Justin Strife, that I would not be surprised if they had foreknowledge of Charlie Kirk being assassinated.
But do you have any evidence?
I'm not going to name. I am not going to name those people, okay? Because it's not right for me to name those people until I know for a fact that they did.
Did you give the names did you give the names to Erica?
Yes.
So you gave the names to Erica Kirk. You go on your big time podcast. Now, when we say podcast, some people think, oh, these are 2 guys in their basement with no reach. Candace Owens' podcast
it's huge.
Is
it's
massive.
Top. It's one of the top ones.
She goes out there with that, but then acts like, oh, by the way, I can't tell you anything. Well, then you probably shouldn't put it out there. Let's see how this whole thing plays out.
So
I absolutely did.
You gave the names to Erica of 2 employees, current employees at Turning Point, who you believe were involved in the preparation for the murder of Charlie Kirk. Is that what you're saying?
I told them that if I were in your shoes, these would be 2 employees that I would look further into. That's
And what evidence do you have that they had any prior knowledge of the murder?
Because I don't have concrete evidence is the reason why I'm not naming them. So I've been responsible.
You've got no evidence,
not saying,
but you're telling the widow that these 2 people may have been involved in the murder. But you see the problem.
Well, what the evidence for it is people that there is not concrete evidence. It's like you're trying to get me to say something that I never said and then asking me to defend it.
No, I'm
not
asking
saying
what evidence
let's
you've
actually
got.
go to. You're asking me privately. Did I communicate to them that I think you should look further? That's called an investigation, Piers.
So you're telling Erica Kirk, the widow of Charlie, these 2 people may have known something, but I've got no evidence to back it up. What kind of crap is that?
And then it goes back to the question we had yesterday or whenever we were talking about it this week. Why would Erica Kirk meet with her? There was some behind closed door meeting for a few hours. I think it lasted. I wouldn't have met with her at all. And I don't Candace Owens is a flamethrower. She's very talented, very specific in her thoughts, very just a great communicator.
Huge audience.
Very smart, huge audience. But like her, and she used to work for the Daily Wire, right? And then her and Ben Shapiro got sideways over to Israel.
Right.
And so she's out on her own now. I don't know, man. I just think, going to Erica Kirk and saying, hey, you might want to take a look at these guys. I don't have any evidence, but I just, just do your own. What is it, Erica Kirk going to do an investigation?
Right. So let me ask you this, Nigel, and this one may hurt a little bit because I know how much you feel about one of these people. Who's had a bigger fall from grace in terms of the conservative media movement? Candace Owens or Tucker Carlson?
Oh, I think Candace, by far.
More than Tucker.
Tucker talks to people, talks to controversial people, people that he's interested in. The reason people are mad at Tucker is because he's flipped on his opinions about Israel. He thinks the war in Gaza, he thinks it's the United States, it's Israel bossing the United States around, and I don't think he used to have those thoughts. And I think that's the reason why. I don't have a problem with him talking to guys like Nick Fuentes. It was an interesting conversation.
But when
Nick
he comes
Fuentes,
out and says, tonight, what I've been told is that the president's going to be talking about war with Venezuela. And nothing came close to that last night.
That I don't know if that was, there's no way that was planned. What congressman was he talking? He said he heard from two congressmen that, Trump's going to announce a war with Venezuela.
Were they Democrat congressmen?
I mean, so that kind of made him look foolish unless they're playing, maybe he's playing 3D chess with Trump and Trump is manipulating that whole narrative. I mean, who in their right mind believes Trump wants to go to war, boots on the ground with Venezuela? Trump is anti-war. Trump doesn't like war. Trump is trying to end wars. And I know we've gotten into a different area than what we first started talking about, but that's just my point. Like, Trump is not going to put boots on the ground in Venezuela.
Right. I'm with you.
He's
the peacemaking president.
Yeah.
Unless you're trying to bring drugs on a boat, then he will blow your ass to hell.
And I know he dropped a bomb or two in Iran, but that got those guys in line pretty quick.
Nige, if you need a reason to drink tonight.
What's that?
I know there's a lot of heavy stuff in the news cycle here. Allison, can I get some mood music?
Oh, Stone Cold?
Happy 61st birthday.
No way.
To Stone Cold Steve Austin, WWF/WWE wrestling legend. When he first kind of started making a name for himself, he was Stunning Steve. He had long blonde hair, and then he decided to change his persona to the Texas redneck.
Well, Stunning Steve, I mean, isn't he the one with the Stone Cold Stunner?
That's where it came from.
Yes. That's his move?
A little hat tip to his original character, Stunning Steve.
Gotcha.
For those who might need a little reminder who Stone Cold Steve Austin is, here you go.
You sit there and you thump your Bible and you say your prayers, and it didn't get you anywhere. Talk about your Psalms, talk about John 3:16. Austin 3:16 says, I just whipped your ass.
That's Candace Owens, ladies and gentlemen. Candace Owens right there. Probably the most popular. To say he was a wrestler, I think minimizes his effect on pop culture. Like, at the height of that WWF/E Attitude Era, he was the superstar. He was on all the late night shows, and He was in Sandler movies. He was in Grown Ups 2. He was in The Longest Yard. But pound for pound, this is my favorite clip of Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I took Deborah, went to the liquor store.
What?
I loaded up with alcohol.
What?
More specifically, vodka, whiskey, beer, tequila, more beer, more vodka, more whiskey, and more beer.
Listen to that crowd, man. They're hanging on every word. Happy 61st to the Rattlesnakes, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Technology Recyclers is the safe and ethical choice for your computer and electronics recycling. R2 certified, 100% land.
like 19 to 20 mile per hour winds right now. But the good news is it's 54 at the American Standard
That
Heating
is
Weather Center.
good news.
The bad news is it's going to be 17 tomorrow.
Crap.
Nige, serious question here, okay? I want you to put that Liston High School education to work. Who's more unlikable, Jimmy Kimmel or Kamala Harris?
Oh, Kamala, for sure, the former vice president. I mean, at least Jimmy Kimmel at one point in his life was likable with the Man Show before he got a case of the TDS. I was a fan of his until he started calling his viewers, anybody that agreed with Donald Trump or voted for Donald Trump was Hitler. You know, that kind of mentality that all those late night talk show hosts had.
The Charlie Kirk situation was such a debacle.
They pulled him off the air for what he said in terms, I mean, I can't even remember what it was.
He blamed his shooter on
his
MAGA.
on MAGA, which was completely and totally false. And now they re-signed him, ABC re-signed him for a year, and then he's done. So
last night, Kamala Harris was on Jimmy Kimmel's show.
Speaking of a ratings killer.
It's like the gates of hell opened up, and Kamala Harris and Jimmy Kimmel are right there together. Now, to his credit, Jimmy Kimmel asked a very fair question. Why didn't the Biden administration release all of the Epstein files and information when they had the power? And I want you to listen to this word salad that Kamala gives.
Why didn't the Biden administration release those files? Was that something that they felt would look bad while they're running against this guy, or why didn't they come out during your administration?
To give you an answer that will not satisfy your curiosity, I will tell you, we, perhaps to our damage, but we strongly and rightly believed that there should be an absolute separation between what we wanted as an administration and what the Department of Justice did. We absolutely adhered to that, and it was right to do that. The Justice Department would make its decisions independent of any political or personal vendetta or concern that we may have. And that's the way it worked.
Wait a minute. I mean, you weaponized, first of all, she weaponized the Department of Justice. What is she talking about? We're
You can stop right
separate.
there. I have no idea. What is she talking about? I've got no idea, Nige.
My point was they were working with the DOJ to go with charges for Donald Trump.
Yeah, I have no
That's
idea what she
hilarious.
said. And to quote Trump in a debate against Joe Biden, I don't think he knows either. All right, coming up at 4:15, the Governor Braun will be here. And God is my witness, I'm going to bring the Chicago Bears to Indy.
Hell yeah.
That's what we're going to do. And we've got some other stuff we'll talk about. That's coming up in just a little bit.
Was a drip, so Washington ignored the problem for decades. Then suddenly the pipe burst. Then illegal immigrants poured into our country across our southern border. But no more.
I hate to see that we might be losing, that the Republicans might be losing a seat. I mean,
and we'll see. Maybe he's not going to be popular in Hamilton County, but maybe he is. Hamilton County is a crapshoot right now. They've been going a little bit more blue every single election. And here's a guy that comes in with name recognition. He's going to get a lot of money because he is the brother-in-law of Ryan Mears. I'm not sure if everybody knows that, but your Marion County Sheriff, Kerry Forrestal, is the brother-in-law of no good, rotten Ryan Mears, your prosecutor in Marion County.
What does that have to do with anything, Hammer?
I'm telling you, they have the same philosophies probably on law enforcement, and I don't like either one of them. Now, look, it might not be fair to say this, but the real reality is you could look at the way Kerry Forrestal has handled the Marion County Sheriff's Department, and he's going to argue they're short-staffed. He's going to argue they don't have enough people. But I would say some of the blame in the death of Sheriff Durham, could be pointed at Kerry Forrestal and the lack of planning and execution. Now, for those who don't remember, Sheriff Durham was transporting a violent offender, the guy that shot his baby mama in front of like the daycare center.
Who should have never been out on the street in the first place.
Ryan Mears. And you could say, wait a minute, why was just one guy in charge of transporting this violent, very violent felon? Like a major threat to society. Somebody that has shot and killed somebody before.
It's not protocol.
Now, Forrestal would say, we don't have the manpower. We don't have the people. Well, somebody died. And I'm sorry, that's not an excuse. So if that makes me the bad guy for pointing that out, then as Scarface once said, say hello to the bad guy. That's going to be interesting, man. I'm really curious to see what Hamilton County thinks. If you live in Hamilton County, jump on our YouTube chat right now. Let us know how you think this is going to play out. Is it going as blue as it appears? Is Kerry Forrestal, who's going to have a lot of money, going to be the guy to beat here?
Who's going to be his opponent?
Well, that we don't really know yet.
That's what we need, a formidable opponent for that race, for sure.
All right, coming up here in just a little bit, Governor Braun will be in studio with us.
Is he here?
I believe he's here. So I tell you what we're going to do. I want to make sure we have time to get to everything that we want to. We're probably still going to run out of time, but I want to make sure we leave enough time to go through a number of topics with the governor. So we're going to break a little early here and have Matt Baer check the roads.
Yeah, fellas, looking at southbound 65 from Boone County slows down before the Dog Lake 865 279th, and northbound 65 Boone stop and go traffic 465 up to 79th. Inbound 65 delayed 7 minutes MLK to Meridian. Eastbound 70 a 4-minute delay Harding into Meridian. Southbound 65 70 jams. North split to the south split. East side southbound 465 a 6-minute delay before 70 down to 74. On the south side, eastbound 465 stop and go traffic from the White River to Emerson Avenue. Crash downtown Washington Street east of West at Missouri, and lights not working. Shadeland Avenue is Shadeland Station. You have to take turns there. Traffic sponsored by Indeed.com. Ready to find the right candidates for your job posting? Indeed sponsored jobs helps connect you with talent that actually matches what you're looking for. Start at Indeed.com/credit. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
54 at the American Standard Heating Weather Center, and Governor Braun joins us next.
While you may not have to travel around the entire world on Christmas Eve, it's nice to know Hubler's got you covered for 100,000 miles. So head out on your holiday journey in a Hubler quality pre-owned vehicle. Over 2,000 to choose from. Chevys, Fords, Toyotas, GMCs, Buicks, Nissans, Acuras, Mazdas, Hondas, and more. Buy with zero down. Yes, zero down delivers. Plus, we'll pay top dollar for your trade. Bring Hubler your old car for an immediate appraisal. Every Hubler Q-certified vehicle is covered by a 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. Includes a 128-point vehicle inspection and a free Carfax history report. No matter where your journeys take you, Hubler's got you covered with the best warranty around. Happy holidays, Indiana. Visit drivehubler.com or any of our 13 convenient locations. Select models, approved credit. Warranty on select models less than 9 years old.
This holiday season, experience the best of downtown Indianapolis with Winter Wonderland. Enjoy holiday traditions, festive attractions, and special events designed for families, date nights, and group outings. To start planning your holiday adventure, visit IndyWonderland.com. That's IndyWonderland.com. And on weekends, don't...
Indiana Governor Mike Braun joins us. I know you're a busy guy. It's the holidays. So kind of like Trump last night on that speech, this is going to be rapid fire. We're going to go as fast as we can and see how much stuff we can get in a short amount of time.
I'm ready. I like your new digs here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, we don't have a beer in here because we were told by management, and I'm paraphrasing.
Disappointed.
I'm paraphrasing.
I knew you would be.
No drinks in the studio or you're fired. But we figured if anybody could, maybe give an executive order, it'd be you. Like,
I'll take it under consideration.
I'll draft an executive order that says drinks in the studio and a raise for Hammer and Nigel. All we need is your signature. That's it. Hey, this is the first time we've had a chance to speak since the vote came down from the Senate about redistricting. It was an overwhelming no. Your thoughts?
So I think whenever you make a statement like that, when the prelude had been two conversations with the president, VP had come in twice, we felt it was, and we know it is through polling, 80% of Republicans and conservatives at that point in time were for it. the loud voices against it because you had to craft it with 10 Democrats to get it across the finish line. It's one of those things. I think they were out of kilter with the House, the congressional delegation, our office, the White House, and the VP, and large majority of Republicans in the state. So they dug in on it, decided to make that an issue that they deal with any consequences. But, I look at it similar. I think I used this analogy when I ran for governor. That was a rowdy primary where, ideally we would have gotten closer to 50% of the vote. We ended up with 40, and you got all the forces across the pick a side to be on. Well, we won with a record margin, and no one issue ever defines what you're going through. Of course, that was property taxes and a host of others that made that one up. That was mostly about different camps within the Republican Party.
There was a lot of negative words, though. That felt like this got a little personal. There were some tweets. You and the Senate Pro Tem kind of went back and forth.
Wasn't even close to what you do in campaigns, so keep that in mind. Not even close. Here, the House and the Senate would have been the first time in a supermajority where they went different ways. And it's still an issue that had national impact and descended upon us. And they had plenty of time to maybe consider all of the other elements I just mentioned. But no, I don't view that as being something that on issues of healthcare, education, utility rates, data centers, infrastructure, that's different. So
I heard Senator Chris Garton, who is the majority floor leader there, on another show, and the host was asking him several different ways as to why there were Republicans that were voting no to this. And I felt like he couldn't exactly pin it on one thing. And I'm wondering if maybe you could, parse this out for us a little bit. And what happened with those 21? Is it 21?
21 that voted
no.
19 voted for, and there was one that flipped, based on that other public vote. So here, I go back again. Remember, in the primary, when it's a lot more at stake, there were 60% of Republican primary voters that Suzanne Crouch got the second most votes at 22%. The two that spent the most money had different factions backing them.
Crouch, representative of Zionsville, right?
Crouch was the lieutenant governor.
Oh, lieutenant governor. So I'm sorry. I'm
comparing it again to a much bigger scuffle that took place over many, many months.
Yes.
And then everybody comes together eventually, because then it becomes a binary discussion. Would you actually want a Democrat in there who now they say we back all the policies of the national party? Obviously, that's not going to resonate in Indiana. But when you needed them to get you across the finish line on this vote, that's never happened before. So I think Chris Garton, having trouble explaining it, I've been through several tough rodeos running for Senate. Of course, in the Senate, remember, if you wanted to be successful there, you had to get along with ideologically opposed legislators.
Yes.
We ended up being the Senate office that did that the best in just one term on getting practical legislation done. So I'd have more to relate it to. And remember, a landslide on anything is 55% anymore.
Right.
That's how divided you get. And even within your own party, that primary got to be worse than that. So
yeah, sorry, I was confusing Crouch with Becky Cash. My bad.
Yeah,
that was my bad.
So let's talk about your lieutenant governor, Micah Beckwith. This may come as a shock to you, but he's been active on social media, and he's had some tweets. He's deleted a few. He's put a few back up there. Long story short, did he lie about Donald Trump threatening to withhold funds if the vote didn't go his way in Indiana?
No, he did not, but he based it upon things he was hearing.
Okay.
And I think the guy's name was Davis Engel, and it may have been State Affairs that had that quote from the White House that, no, that wasn't happening. But there were other groups putting it out there. So if you extrapolate and your fingers are faster than maybe thinking it through, you'll get stuff out there. And I think he deleted that because when he looked to see if that was coming from a credible source, it wasn't.
Have you had any conversations with your staff, your lieutenant governor, or others about maybe pump the brakes a little bit on being so fast to put things out on social media?
I've had that discussion on other issues, and I think this one got so heightened in terms of the passion, and when it looked like they were digging in to die on that hill, that I think is what evokes it. But there's been no conversation in the most important way between the White House and my office on that. So,
because the comments that Nigel and I receive, and again, it's from the YouTube chat, it's from Twitter, it's from Facebook, is I bet Braun read Micah Beckwith the Riot Act. I bet he made him delete that tweet because he's angry and there's bad blood between the two.
Fake news. Yeah.
How is your relationship with the lieutenant governor?
I'd say it's good. And however, I've told him and told you this on this show, don't make headlines for the wrong reason. And a lot of times, if you are getting out there to where you haven't thought it through, but Micah is a defender of conservatives. I mean, he is out there talking about principles that I think reflect our state a lot more than what the Democrats do, for sure. And I think that is where our state Senate didn't think it through.
But I know he wasn't your first choice. He wasn't your choice at all to be the lieutenant governor.
And that's because I wanted somebody with legislative experience. Julie McGuire was a fighter, and she knew a lot about health insurance, hospital costs, and was willing to do some things that would be pushing the envelope. That was the reason there.
Is there somebody trying to change the law there about what the Indiana governor or who you want as your running mate? There's somebody who's trying to change that.
Somebody's got a bill out there to where you do with it what they did with the superintendent of schools. And probably that would be better. But Micah earned it through the current system by convincing the delegates. And when it comes down to who is probably promoting the principles of conservatism, he is. Sometimes you got to be careful on the other parts that go with it, like how you interact with social media and all that stuff. He's young. He'll learn.
Governor Braun joining us in studio here. A couple minutes left here. I do want to get your thoughts on the Chicago Bears here in just a moment, okay? A lot of Bear fans are like, make sure the governor doesn't leave today until the Bears are in Indiana. So we'll get to that. But one thing, though, and you did an interview, I believe it was with our news partners at Wish TV, and you were talking about some of the wins that you've seen over the last, year plus. Do you think the property tax situation was a win? Because some people would say you were doing a victory lap on property tax the other day, and we've made it clear on this show, and this isn't anything new. We're not gotcha guys at all. We sat here and told you right to your face when you joined us before, this was a very underwhelming situation with property tax. Do you think that was something you should do a victory lap on?
So, having enough experience of how you got legislation through in the big house for 6 years, I knew how hard that was. Here, think about what the Senate did again. They give you Senate Bill 1, which was a reset. We probably weren't going to get that because the Senate would have never voted for it. On the other hand, they gutted the bill and had to be completely rebuilt in the House of Representatives. And Jeff Thompson did that, and it barely passed the Senate because so many things die there, and it's a wet blanket. And
why do so many things die in the Senate that we want, Governor?
Because I think they're foot draggers, and they don't think big enough in terms of what you can do with a supermajority. And then they go back to being genteel and maybe the way the old Republican Party used to be. And we've got vestiges of that. 60% of it, 10% of that margin were people to the right of me that wanted more on property taxes but weren't in on the discussions in terms of how we weren't going to get rid of them. We weren't going to get what we proposed because that was clear with what the Senate did. So I go back to, I think that's a pretty good product. We build upon it. And when 2/3 of all homes are going to be 66% exempted and all homes will be 66%, 2/3 exempted in 5 years. Not bad.
Do you
Maybe
feel like
not
the
what you
school
guys
boards,
wanted?
though, do you feel like the
wasn't.
school boards and local officials like bossed around leaders of the Senate? Because that's what we hear, and that's what we see in a lot of places.
They
These
certainly
school
did.
boards say, we're going to go bankrupt.
Wow.
These cities say, we're going to go bankrupt. And it's all crap, but certain senators buy it.
They got used to the gravy train through COVID, where $2 billion were dumped into school districts, or roughly the same amount to local governments, $4 billion to our state government. So when we got a hold of the state government, it was operating more like D.C. was, with working at home, all kinds of stuff. And then when we got that austere budget forecast, that was another blind side. So we got a lot done with that. And yes, these local government officials, I've been meeting with them, did a lot this week. They know they got to run things more leanly. It won't be the end of the world. They're still getting more money than they did the year before, but it's going to lower bills for 2/3 of taxpayers. And then I got to get this in, because this was the best day of news since I've been governor. It started when we looked at our local GDP growth here in Indiana, double that of Illinois and Ohio at 2.6%, triple that of Kentucky, 6 times better than Michigan's. And when in the short period of time for spending less money on economic development and cleaning house there with a completely new board membership, we got great news that we raised wages from 36 to 41 and did it by spending 1/3 as much on an incentivized job, from 55,000 down to 17. And the budget just got released for what we're looking at now. We've added back $1 billion, where, remember, we had to cut $1 billion because we've managed government well. We're growing the economy better than anyone else in our peer group. That's what I came here for. Those are good results.
All right, Hammer.
Last thing here,
There
Governor.
it is. Here it comes.
How serious of a player is the state of Indiana in luring the Chicago Bears? Because their ownership, their leadership, their management puts out a statement, and it's out there on social media, saying they're open to working with Northwest Indiana for a new stadium. So Hammond, Indiana, Gary area, these are the places we're talking about here. How serious of a player is Indiana in luring the Chicago Bears?
So there's only one question to answer to that question. Are they going to do this to try to restage it, to bargain with where they were going to go? My opinion is they opened the door wide enough to where they're going to see how much difference there is in having a business in Illinois versus one in Indiana.
Interesting.
And it's going to get down to all the things I just talked about, to where we're that much better than Illinois. And when I remind them that Indiana is the only state that's had net migration into it, legal, from other states choosing to move, we were the only state in the northern half of the country. And you know where they're coming from? Illinois, mostly Chicago.
Wow.
There's going to be a lot to work with. And the other side has gotten a wake-up call, but I don't believe they would have come this far unless they're now going to compare it on the merits, and they've been snubbed there for about 6 months.
Now, does the state of Indiana need the approval of the Irsay family for this to happen? Because I got a feeling the Irsays would probably not be too keen on another NFL franchise coming to the state.
There has to be agreement, I think, within the NFL. And my understanding is that it's in a completely different market, and that probably wouldn't be an issue. All that needs to be worked out. But when it reaches the public forum, that means something wasn't working well in the place they'd probably like to have it, but they've said, you're on your own, we're not interested. We'll see if that changes. We now got the opening to make the case for moving them here. I don't think they'll be called the Gary or Hammond Bears.
That's what I was wondering.
But I don't want them to be the Chicago Bears either, right? I don't want to have that New York Giants crap where they play in New Jersey. I don't want the Chicago name if they're going to be in our state, Governor.
Hey, let's just be happy that it's a conversation, and we'll see where it goes from here.
Governor, we appreciate you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
It's
Enjoy
the
it.
Hammer and Nigel Show.
WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
The weather and what it continues to throw your way. 54 degrees in downtown Indianapolis with rain continuing to fall all throughout the state.
when a raccoon fell out of the ceiling and bit one of the guests.
Oh, no.
Here's the call that went out to wildlife control when the incident happened.
Customer who was bit by a raccoon.
We don't know how this raccoon got there. It was quite a large raccoon driving there as this thing was growling, hissing, scratching. When it gets really cold, it's not uncommon to get these calls for raccoons. They did all the right things. They got medical care for the person that got bit. He was taken to the hospital, and I felt like I owed that to the person that got bit because his entire process for his treatment relies basically solely on do we get this animal or not.
They euthanized. Yeah, this is something for sure. You're eating at one of the nicest restaurants in that little town, and a rodent, a giant rat,
a trash panda.
Yeah, a trash panda falls through the ceiling and bites you.
Did you say it was euthanized?
Yeah, they tested it for rabies. The victim was in the hospital. I couldn't imagine the horror for the management there at that restaurant. I happen to know of a friend of mine that was dining at a very nice restaurant downtown here in Indy.
White Castle.
One time. Not White Castle. One that you're going to be spending a lot of money on, and you can't get without a reservation. And a cockroach fell from the ceiling onto his plate.
No.
He was very discreet about it. My buddy was kind of, gave the hand signal, ushered a waiter over, and everybody was mortified. Everybody's bill was taken care of at the table, but I don't know that I could finish my meal. If they said,
so that was my question. Did the others finish their meals? I assume Cockroach Guy didn't, but did his guests?
Cockroach Guy didn't. He just sipped on some drinks while his other buddies finished their meal.
So they finished their meals?
Yes.
Okay.
As far as I can remember, it happened a long time ago, but it would be a name that you would definitely recognize in terms of what the restaurant was. But never a raccoon. I've never heard of that before in my life, much less biting somebody.
All right, so here's my question for the YouTube chat. Go to WIBC's YouTube feed, jump in our chat, hit like while you're there. We need about, 80 or so more likes to get us to 150. Help us out. But would you continue your meal if your guest either was bitten by a raccoon or had a cockroach fall out of the sky? Let's say you paid a lot for the meal.
Yeah.
Your meal is good. It's a succulent steak. It's juicy. It's got all the fixins.
And the entire table was taken care of. Nobody paid
Right.
after that incident.
Would you continue to eat your meal if it was good
If your buddy had a cockroach on the steak, is that what you're asking?
or was bitten by a raccoon that fell from the sky?
Okay, well, that too.
Either one.
I don't know that I could finish my meal if a raccoon got into a very nice restaurant and bit my dining partner. I think I'd probably have to go with him to the hospital.
If I know I'm getting the meal for free afterwards, and
Hey, can you box this up? I'm getting into the ambulance.
if the raccoon didn't get on the meal, I don't see what the big deal is, Nige. I really don't. Is this anything? Neighbors in Colorado came together to argue that their HOA and the 28-foot, let me stress this again, 28-foot tall inflatable Santa should be able to be shown in somebody's yard. Because the HOA was like, whoa, that's too big. But the homeowners are like, we want the 28-foot inflatable Santa.
That's a big
Here's
bastard.
the homeowner and one of her neighbors. Apparently, they're all good with it.
We saved up money throughout the year to be able to purchase Santa.
My daughter, being autistic and nonverbal, the first thing out of her mouth was, wow.
We were very bummed and sad to know that we were going to have to bring him down, and I decided to advocate for Santa. We now have a reindeer across the street looking at Santa.
I won't take it down. They're trying to steal Christmas, but they're not going to get it.
A phone call from upper management saying that they had made a mistake and Santa can stay.
Yeah!
There we go!
All right, good news. That is good news. But 28 feet, I mean, how tall is a basketball goal? 10 feet?
Yes.
So 3 of those bad boys basically stacked on top of each other.
That's a big freaking Santa.
Do you have inflatables in your house? But you don't have an HOA.
No, we don't have an HOA.
But do you have anything near the size of a...
No, I can't even imagine a 28-foot inflatable.
I know. Pretty cool to look at. I don't think I'd put it in my yard. I don't know if there'd be any room in my yard for a 28
Any
foot
gust
inflatable.
of wind would take this thing off like a parasail, wouldn't it? Good Lord.
Yeah. But look, I think HOAs. I have an HOA, and I've gotten a couple letters before. Let the trash cans out. We had to put a barrier between the trash cans, and we were leaving them out. Like,
do they fine you? Like, I don't have an HOA.
No,
what do they do? Then why don't you just tell them to go to hell?
At least mine can't. They send you letters. They have.
Send one back with a picture of Uranus.
They have a company that they go through that manages several different neighborhoods. And another buddy of mine had a trampoline out kind of to the side of his house, but not in full view.
Right, I get it. But yes or no, can they fine you?
No.
Can they arrest you?
So. I don't know. I don't think so.
Then why do you care?
I think if it gets to the point, maybe they could sue. Maybe they could file a civil suit. But it's got to go through a long process, I think.
Next time they send you a letter about your trash cans, I want you to respond with a photo of your butt cheeks.
Okay.
Okay?
No problem.
It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Hensley Legal Group is one of those firms that puts the client above all else.
at the American Standard Heating Weather Center. Man, I saw this story earlier today, and Nigel texted you and some others about it. I was waiting for more of a confirmation before we talked about it, but it seems like this is official now, and it's a total bummer. Former NASCAR driver Greg Biffle looks like he has passed away and died in a fiery plane crash in North Carolina.
Man.
And I hate this because Biffle was one of the good dudes in racing, man. He did so much humanitarian work for those hurricane victims in North Carolina.
I remember that.
Looks like a plane that was carrying his wife and at least one of his children crashed. And, man, no survivors, and I hate that. So rest in peace, Greg Biffle, former NASCAR driver, great humanitarian. Coming up next, Senator Jim Banks.
Inc. for a free consultation in the month of December and get 2 free sessions. Exercise Inc. 5 locations. Visit Exercise.
With a very special guest on the hotline.
A senator from the great state of Indiana, Senator Jim Banks, joins us. Senator, did you watch President Trump's address to the nation last night? And if so, what were your thoughts?
Well, I caught parts of it. I certainly saw a lot of the clips of it today. My favorite part of it, and I'm not surprised by this because President Trump is so good to our troops, to our service members, but his announcement of the Warrior dividends, $1,776 for active duty service members. I love that part of it. Guys, I went and visited with our Indiana National Guards troops who are in Washington, D.C. on a 3-month deployment as part of the effort to clean up our nation's capital. And I got to thank all of them in person today, and they wanted to talk about this. They were thrilled about the president's speech last night and this extra Christmas bonus that Secretary Hegseth and President Trump are providing to our service members. So for me, that was the highlight.
Senator, I'll get back to the speech in just a second, but as far as the National Guard in Washington, D.C. and other places, is it working? I mean, do you see a palpable difference?
Totally working. I see it firsthand, but I'll tell you, all of the statistics prove it. Carjackings are way down in the city. Violent crime is way down in the city. All of the statistics bear it out. And just the one thing to prove it is the city of Washington, D.C., the left-wing mayor of Washington, D.C., they're all favorable to what the National Guard troops are doing. I stood outside with them. It was a beautiful morning in Washington. It's been cold over the last week, and I got to walk around DuPont Circle and Farragut Square, where the Indiana National Guard troops, as their territory, walked around with them today, and probably 9 out of 10 people walked by and thanked them for being there, for their service. They got a lot of good feedback from Washingtonians, people who have lived in Washington all their life, that see the noticeable difference. They did get one jackhole walked by and gave them the bird or something like that, but
whatever.
That's so minimal compared to the type of positive feedback they're getting. I think I told you guys before, I had a key member of my staff a few years ago who was mugged at gunpoint in the middle of the day.
Oh my gosh!
Right off of Capitol Hill, and that's how bad things got here. You had tent cities and all the parks with the homeless people. Lots of the broken windows theory, right? I mean, you take care of you clean up the small things, and then the big things. The big crimes go down too, and that's what you're seeing. The Indiana National Guard is on the front lines of cleaning up our nation's capital, which we should all take so much more pride in and be proud of our capital city, our nation's capital, and our National Guard from our state. A lot of your listeners, those 300 troops from the state of Indiana,
yes,
National Guard, are in Washington, D.C., serving our country in a big way, and I'm very proud of them.
Senator, I'm glad you bring that up because, we've seen videos from Instagram and TikTok and other social media outlets of people who I'm just going to assume are not diehard Trump supporters, right? I'm just going to assume some of these folks don't own a MAGA hat, but they're walking around Washington, D.C., they're walking around Memphis, and they're like, you know what? This is pretty cool. I feel like this is an underreported story as we get close to the midterms next year.
Yeah, totally. And I met with the commander, I think Lieutenant Colonel that is overseeing the National Guard's troops from Indiana, and he was talking. And he's a former police officer himself. It's not they're not playing a law enforcement role. They're just providing a deterrent to crime, and they're friendly faces on the streets. And unfortunately, and I went with our Indiana National Guard troops today to Farragut Square, and they're patrolling the area where the shooting happened a few weeks ago. And the memorial there is a reminder to them every day of what happened to two of their fellow service members. So, but we're seeing those types of activities decline. And I mean, obviously that was a terrorist attack. It was terrible. And with one service member killed, another one who's got a long road to recovery. But when we're talking about the carjackings and the drugs and the a lot of the things that you've seen in our nation's capital, especially when Democrats were in control of the White House the last 4 years, and it got to become a very dangerous and gross city. It shouldn't be that way. President Trump, every time he gives, I don't know if you guys have ever picked up on this, but he's spoken about this dynamic several times. And I think it's always interesting to hear him because he says in his speeches, he's done several times in speeches about why he's called the National Guard to Washington, D.C. He talks about how he names Indiana. He said people shouldn't come from Indiana to visit the Capitol and the monuments and see our nation's history and visit our Capitol and not feel safe. That shouldn't happen. I mean, he mentions Indiana as an example. Hoosiers shouldn't have to come to Washington, D.C., their nation's capital, and feel unsafe. So it's completely turned around. I see it firsthand, but the statistics prove it.
Senator Jim Banks here on the Hammer and Nigel show. Back to the presidential address to the nation last night. Yeah, one thing I did not hear the president mention was Venezuela. I think there was some sort of online narrative that Donald Trump was going to declare war or talk about Venezuela or, it is something to do with that. I know he's been blowing up those narco-terrorist drug boats. What did you think about that whole narrative leading up to the speech last night of Donald Trump involving Venezuela and then it just being a non-issue?
Well, it's the hot issue on Capitol Hill, and I sat through a couple of briefings this week. I serve on the Armed Services Committee, so we got to see the video of the boat strike.
September 2nd.
And the additional strike on September 2nd.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to me because it's a classified video. I saw it in a SCIF, a classified setting, so I can't talk about the contents of it. But what I can talk about is the outrage of the Democrats. And they argued with Pete Hegseth in the room. They're mad at President Trump. You don't have the authority to do this.
Oh, Tim Kaine called them struggling survivors, Senator, the drug dealers from Venezuela.
I saw the video, and I'm telling you, the president, Secretary Hegseth, they did the right thing. They followed all the protocols. They took out a drug boat that was pushing deadly drugs into the United States of America. And the president at the same time has declared these drugs to be a threat to our country, and that's an act of war. So what do you do when someone is trying to kill Americans? You take them out. You take them out first. And we got the best military on the planet, and we've sent aircraft carriers to the Caribbean. We're protecting our own hemisphere. I love what President Trump is doing, but so do 75% of Americans. I mean, I've seen the polling. 3/4 of our country support what President Trump is doing, taking out narco-terrorists. These Democrats sound stupid. They sound silly, fighting back and arguing with these guys about it. And President Trump knows that. I thought maybe he would talk about Venezuela because it is a 75% issue and double down on it. Get the the Trump derangement syndrome, I mean, is real. Get the Democrats stirred up and arguing with them because we're on the right side of this issue. The president and Secretary Hegseth are on the right side of the issue. I've seen the video. They did everything right. They did everything that they should have done. They took out bad guys. They sank another drug boat, and they've sank several more since. And I'm glad they're doing it.
Last thing here, Senator, before we let you go. Again, Senator Jim Banks with us. All right, as a guy from northern Indiana, the Fort Wayne area, the Chicago Bears are kind of dipping their toe in the water here about maybe finding a home in northwestern Indiana if they can't get a deal with Chicago. Any thoughts to this? Would you be willing to kind of play ball and help make this happen?
Well, let me tell you, I'm a Colts fan, but we haven't had much to be a fan of recently. I mean, I had some high hopes at the beginning of the season with Daniel Jones, Indiana Jones. Chris Ballard is so woke. They should have fired this guy years ago, and I hope the Irsay family fires him after the debacle of this season. In fact, I think they promised us they would if things didn't work out this season. But I'll tell you guys what, if the Chicago Bears move to the region, I might totally ditch the Colts and become a Bears fan because what a punch to the gut for Chicago and those liberals in Illinois to lose the Chicago
I
Bears
know.
to Indiana. I mean, that's got to be humiliating for them. I mean,
Pritzker, could you imagine?
I will die if that happens. That would be amazing. I will become a Chicago Bears fan. I'll buy all the gear. I'll go to all the games. That'll be so much fun just to poke our finger in the eye of Chicago and all those Democrats in Illinois.
Senator, we thank you so
Yeah,
much for
man.
joining us this year on the Hammer and Nigel show.
Let's
and
do it again
if we
next
don't
year.
get a chance to speak with you before Christmas and the New Year, you and your family have a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and we hope we can continue these conversations in 2026.
Same to you. Happy New Year. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Take care.
All right, Matt Bear standing by in the WIBC Traffic Center.
Yeah, looking on the northwest side, southbound 465, stop and go traffic from 79th.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
I'm pretty far from okay.
Are you okay with this? On the Hammer and Nigel show. Oh, yeah!
Brought to you by Window Nation. Window Nation's end-of-year sale is your chance to save big with 50% off all window styles plus 0% financing for 5 years. Sale ends soon, so visit windownation.com. That's windownation.com to get started. Hammer, if you're looking for a new Christmas tradition, got an idea for you. There's a custom out of Spain called Tio de Nadal, where children sing to a Christmas log and beat it with sticks until it, quote, poops out presents.
I'm sorry, what?
Here's an explanation. Listen, this chick has a thick accent. Here's an explanation of how this Christmas tradition works.
Each house gets a Tio de Nadal before Christmas that comes with a smiley face, a Catalan red barretina, 2 legs in the front, and a blanket to hide the presents. Kids feed the Tio de Nadal before Christmas. This way, on Christmas Eve, its belly will be full and ready to poop a lot of presents. On Christmas Eve, families and friends get together. The little ones gather in a room reciting poems and singing songs, while the Tio de Nadal prepares to poop gifts. Then, the whole family and friends hit the log with a stick while singing the Caga Tio song. And surprise, the wishes of the little ones have come true. Underneath the blanket, there are presents and sweets.
Are you okay with the Tio Nadal pooping out presents?
Hell yes, I am. And I don't know what it is about that accent.
Yeah.
But even though she's talking about poop, it's hot.
I was just thinking the exact same thing.
Like
when
look,
she says poop, she might as well say panties.
Right. Something about that, like, Swedish type of accent, Spain accent. It's hot. It's really hot. And ladies, don't judge, because I know many of you have a thing for like an English accent or an Australian accent. Allison, jump in the mix here. What foreign accent is the sexiest to you?
I just care about his heart.
Oh, bull crap. Bull crap. I was waiting for Allison to say Martinsville, Indiana. If he sounds like a hick, boy, these panties are coming down.
Do you think, like when the 3 wise men from the Gospel of Matthew were, bringing frankincense and myrrh to Jesus after, what is that thing that we keep hearing, Allison?
Whose
My God.
email keeps popping up on that?
But I just like, back when Jesus was born and the 3 wise men were making their trek and they're going to, did you, in their wildest dreams, do you ever think they would have ever imagined that kids were going to be beating a Christmas log so it could poop out presents?
Look, I feel like they probably figured it out. When I was a teenager, I figured out if you beat a log long enough, something's going to come out of you. So I don't think it's probably out of the realm of possibilities that they came to this conclusion, Nige. You see what I'm saying here?
All right. Okay, just asking.
Do we dare bring Rob Kendall on next?
Is it time? Oh, what time is it? Holy crap, yeah. Oh, he's on vacation.
He is on vacation, but he said he still wants to go off the rails.
All right.
So I'm assuming somewhere right now in Brownsburg, there's a lunatic with no shirt on, putting like Rambo-like war paint on, getting ready to get on the phone. If you see that person, just relax. It's Rob Kendall.
Okay.
He's going off the rails next.
93.
With a very special guest on the hotline.
He's on vacation, but
Wow.
he's never really off. Rob Kendall from the Kendall and Casey Show. They're rated number 1, 9 to noon here at 93 WIBC. Rob, how are you?
Great. Thanks, as always, to our segment sponsor, Garage Doors of Indianapolis. This is a great warm-up for me. I'm getting ready to head over to the Brownsburg Town Council meeting to yell about those bastards raising the water and sewer rates. So let's go.
Rob, it's Christmas. Why don't you just stop being you for 5 minutes? You're going over to a Brownsburg Council meeting 7 days before Christmas while your wife and child are at home.
Yeah, they're going to pay for it all year. Somebody's going to stand up for the people. It sure isn't the people in Washington. It's sure not our elected people. So, yeah, I'm going to go stand up for the people and fight the water and sewer increase.
What are you allowed to speak?
Oh, yeah, maybe they'll threaten to weaponize the cops on me again like they did that one time. It's always an adventure. You never know what's going to happen.
How many council meetings have you been asked to leave?
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
With or without the phrase, sir, you're causing a scene.
Like, nobody goes to more of these local towny council meetings than you do. And listen, I got to give you credit, man.
Yeah?
Like, I'll tip my hat to you. You talk the talk and you walk the walk.
Absolutely.
You are Mr. Local Government. You don't just bitch about it. You do it to their face, and you go to all these meetings.
Yeah, so and I'm the world's biggest hemorrhoid and Nigerian. Is that what we're called now? We're Hammer and Nigel fans.
Sure.
And so, I was listening to your interview earlier, and with Jim Banks, the senator from Indiana, and he's talking about this 1776 that's going to the troops. And look, God bless the troops and anybody who's willing to put their life on the line for this country. But that money he should be not thanking Donald Trump. Donald Trump didn't write that check. Is that coming from Trump's bank account? That's coming from tax increases on us. Those tariffs are tax increases that everybody's going to pay. We're $38 trillion in debt. These tariffs are tax increases. That money's coming from the tax increases we're paying. And you notice none of these guys, the federal guys, the state guys, the local guys, they never thank the taxpayers. So on behalf of the people who won't thank the taxpayers, let me say thank you to the taxpayers for paying that $17.76 that's going to the troops.
Okay, so Trump mentioned last night tariff is his favorite word, and that the United States has been getting ripped off on tariffs for years, and now it's our turn to make some money on tariffs. And you come on here and say it's a tax increase on us.
Well, it is. These companies are not eating this. They're not like, oh, well, we're going to just make 20% less because Trump said. That's just not how that's going to work. We are paying for the increased price of stuff. And they act as though this is just money falling out of the sky. No, it's money being paid for by us. I thought all of us were supposed to get $2,000 back. When did that happen? This is in no way an attack on the people who serve this country. God bless them. I'm so thankful they're there. But when we act as though Trump's doing something noble by taking money from other people, which is what he's doing with these tariffs, he's taking money from us and then giving it to somebody else, we're the ones who should be being thanked because we're the ones paying for it.
But Rob, I know you. Had we been given some sort of stimulus from these tariffs, you would be bitching about that too.
Yes, because we are $38 trillion in debt.
Yeah.
We have no money. Like, what are we, 8, 9, 10 generations now is going to be paying for this? My kid is going to have no shot. The price of everything is simply unaffordable. It is getting worse by the day. And when I hear Banks talk about how great the economy is, look, maybe in Washington where he lives, maybe in Washington where he spent much of the past decade, everything's great. It probably is. But for regular people, it sucks out there.
Yeah, I definitely think the perception is that it sucks. And I think it's a mistake for Donald Trump to tell people their perception is wrong. And there's a difference. But I think, inflation has lowered. Those numbers came out today. But besides all that, Rob, I do want to get more. Let's talk about the speech last night. Your overall 30,000-foot analysis of what you heard from Donald Trump last night in his address to the nation.
Well, we were texting about this last night, and
we were.
I kind of just
you were
tuned
asleep,
it out.
Nigel. Hold on. Rob and I were on our group text having a conversation.
I did fall
You
asleep.
were asleep by 8:30.
Sorry to interrupt, buddy.
No, you're fine. That's a little game Hammer and I play. When will Nige tap out of the group text? I don't think it's interesting anymore. I think it's like a TV show that kind of jumped the shark a couple seasons ago, where you just kind of, okay, it's still Fonzie going, hey, the border is better. There's no doubt about that. 100% better. I think foreign policy-wise, I think we're in a better position. There are things that I think Trump has done that are very good. However, the key thing that he was elected on was the quality of living, the quality of life, the affordability of life. And he seems just very dismissive of all of this. And I think that's going to play horribly for him next year unless they get it under control, which there's nothing they're doing that's going to get it under control, because it's the same thing Biden went through. You can say stock market this and Wall Street that. People don't live there. They experience the price of food at the grocery store, their rent, automobiles, all of these things. People are being priced out of living a thriving middle-class existence.
So, Rob, I will defer to my better half here, the crazy coupon lady. I was talking with her last night, and I asked her, is going to the grocery store more affordable now than it was last year or the year before? Now, I'll admit, I am not somebody you want to play Price is Right. I'm not a grocery store guy. I suck at knowing what things cost, but she does. And she told me it is a little bit more affordable right now than it has been. So my question to you, is this just a matter of the Republicans are not very good at getting that message out?
Well, look,
Bingo.
and she's the coupon queen, right? She's a trained professional. As an amateur grocery shopper, not on her level. She's like the Michael Jordan. I'm like some guy that's playing at Kent State, right? So I don't pretend to be able to maneuver the grocery store like she does. Every time I pay at the register, I feel like I've been kicked in the junk. I mean, it hurts, man. And I do the grocery shopping in our house. And look, you can say, well, inflation is only 1% now. It was 2.5% last year. But when you add it together from 2020, year over year over year over year, and we're still doing the same stuff, which is printing more money, it's not going to get any better. It's not keeping up with the wages. The economy is not succeeding to the point where the amount of money you're making is exceeding what you're paying collectively on all of these things when it comes to life. And the biggest part of it is...
Hold on, Rob. Nationally, the real wages look like they are starting to outpace the pace of inflation. That was a point of a reference of Trump last night.
Look, again, it's a guy throwing out numbers that don't match the reality on the ground. It's the same thing Biden did. There are probably people hey, look, if you're in the AI industry, probably doing great. If you're in select portions of the economy, succeeding. If you look at how our economy is doing and what's lifting everything up, the tippy top is doing very well.
I would agree with Hammer. I don't mean to interrupt. I would agree with Hammer. It doesn't match the perception. With what Trump is saying doesn't match the perception. And just by Trump saying your perception is wrong is not going to work. And Hammer hit the nail on the head with the messaging aspect of this. That needs to change.
Yeah, I agree with you guys wholeheartedly. For most people, it has gotten so bad that simply it's like we screwed it up by 93%. Well, now I got 1% better. But it's still 92% worse than it was 5 years ago, which you guys started. The Republicans printed all that money in 2020 that started this whole thing, that kicked it all into overdrive. Trump was the president. The Republicans had the Senate. The Republicans have had the House since 2022. They won the House back. You can't keep like what they do this year. The big bullcrap bill. It was $5 trillion they added to the debt. You can't keep doing this. Eventually, the chickens come home to roost, and the average person. I'm sorry, maybe you guys know people that are going, man, it's great out there. I don't talk to many people that feel that way.
I don't think they're saying it's great out there, but I think they're saying it's better than what it was. And I know you crap on the Republicans, and you've made this clear because you expect more out of the Republicans, because people always ask us, why doesn't Rob crap on the Democrats more? And I always tell them, because Rob expects more out of the Republicans. But I mean, you can't ignore the fact that for the last 4 years under Joe Biden when the border was wide open and all these lunatics come across. You've got these blue states that are using our money to pay for these people. That's going to raise a lot of the costs, no?
Yeah, but again, it comes back to the Democrats don't lie to me and tell me they're going to make it better. I know what they are. I can dismiss them off the top. If it's because the Republicans tell me every time, guys, you tell me a campaign the Republicans haven't run in the past 25 years on spending and reforming government, making government leaner, more efficient, not cost as much, get rid of the waste, fraud, and abuse. Can you tell me a campaign in the past 25 years? They always say the same stuff. And if you look at, since 2000, debts added by Republican presidents versus Democrat presidents, Republican presidents outpaced Democrat presidents. Neither one is good. But the Democrats don't lie to me. I have already dismissed them a long time ago. The Republicans keep telling me, this is the time it'll be different. This is the time it'll be better. It's never any different or any better.
Going off the rails with Rob Kendall. Rob, last thing here. I know you're a big, I mean mega, Chicago Bears fan. Are you going to get season tickets when they move to Hammond?
Well, there is as much chance they're moving to Hammond as you're going to be the starting quarterback when it happens, Hammer. There's no
Hey, the
way.
Colts already have a 44-year-old quarterback. I don't think it's too far out of the realm of possibility, Rob.
Look, I think it's hilarious that the Bears are trying to. It's not working. The Speaker of the Illinois House of Representatives just essentially lit the Bears on fire on Twitter the past couple of days. It's great. He's a great follow. Super lib, I'm sure, but he's great on this issue. They're trying to leverage this. They're not. What are you going to tell? You're going to give your players a tour of Gary and go, welcome to your new home away from home. I'm sure you're definitely going to want to sign here as a free agent. That's not happening. The Bears aren't coming here. But if you wanted to come to a place that gives away more money from poor and middle class people than maybe any other state in the union to pro sports teams, Indiana may very well be the perfect place for you.
Oh, here we go. Talk about the stadium, Rob. Talk about the Colts stadium. Go ahead.
Well, look, you can dismiss it all you want. There's a $1.2 billion purchase in the heart of our capital city that was like almost exclusively paid for by tax increases on poor and middle class people. You pay for it every time you buy a sandwich or you rent a car or all these other things. So that's what we do. They've already crafted that legislation last year to try to, quote unquote, entice a pro team to come to that region. Look at the IEDC. Look at how they handled Lucas Oil Stadium. Look at how they've handled Gainbridge. I mean, can you guys tell me another state that gives out more stuff to pro sports teams than Indiana?
Rob, I just want to point out that on the YouTube chat right now, Jim just wrote, can you please drop Rob off at 21st and Midhofer?
Wow. What?
You're winning over friends, Rob. You're winning people over, Rob, with your brand of I hate everybody and everybody sucks.
Yeah, look, here's the thing, man. People can say whatever they want because I'm an easy target, right? Because I go after everybody. But who fights harder for every person than me? That's what I always say to people. Who actually fights harder for you in your life in the public sphere than me? And those people, they'd miss me if I'm gone.
You don't fight for anybody. You hate everybody, Rob. That's the problem. There's not one person other than the people you're speaking with.
He loves the citizens.
You?
Rob Kendall hates everybody except for his daughter, his wife, and maybe the people he's having a conversation with right now. Rob, we appreciate you taking the time on your vacation.
Thanks, buddy.
When are you coming back? When are you going to be back on your show?
Well, after this segment, maybe never. Who knows? First of the year, I got to go get this water sewer thing. I'm sure I'll be ignored there in the order I'm received, but you guys are the best. I love your show. Thanks to Garage Doors of Indianapolis. You guys have an awesome Christmas.
By the way, Rob, how the hell did you get the rest of the year off when our bosses put out an email saying, we don't want all of you taking the rest of the month off?
I remember that.
You got the rest of the month off. And then the guy that sent the email, and I'm going to do my best Rob Kendall impression, he's got the rest of the month off.
Yeah, I just looked at everybody else and I did the Trump. I put my hands up and I said, wish you the best.
Rob, we'll talk soon, brother.
See you, buddy.
All right, see you guys.
It's the Hammer and Nigel show.
It's Terry Stacy for Cynthia's Hallmark, and this Christmas, give her something she'll treasure forever. The most sought-after jewelry in the country.